Good Boys, directed by Gene Stupnitsky, I apologize if I butchered her name, was a film that came out last weekend, or this weekend actually. Holy shit, I'm in a movie on time. I'm reviewing it right on time. Who would have ever seen this? It's a nice little, teen comedy? It's a teen, really fucked up teen comedy, if I could really describe it that way, of a bunch of little, now 6th grade little boys getting ready to become 6th graders and enter the world of middle school and prove that they can be little adult men and prove that they're mature and they know stuff like sex and alcohol and drugs and they're cool and party animals. And speaking of party animals, they're given the chance to go into a party during the weekend of their first week of middle school, and mayhem breaks loose. They go through crazy adventures just to prove that they can be manly. Now, I love Seth Rogen, who helped produce the movie. He's incredible, and I mean, come on. When Seth Rogen was involved in this project, I knew this was at least gonna be great. I love all of his work, almost all of it. Do I? Yeah, I think I love all of it. I can't really think of a movie that I really dislike of the guy. He's probably one of my favorite modern directors and even actors of the modern era. He's incredible. And this is another movie that proves it. Here's what I thought about it. So a lot of people have been comparing I even said the title already, Good Boys to Superbad, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of the same people involved in that project are now working in Good Boys. It's kind of pretty much almost the same concept, except the whole twist is now they're even younger boys, and instead of high school party, it's middle school party, and instead of high school kids, it's middle school kids, instead of... it's just, you get the whole gist. It's just a bunch of little simple changes that they change, with the whole novelty of the kids, you know, being super raunchy, and honestly, like a lot of people said, I'm gonna be honest, as someone who was in middle school just not so long ago, a few years, well, fucking 5 years ago already at this point, but not so long ago in the span of in my entire life, yeah, it's pretty accurate. The only thing I say they got a little wrong is that there wasn't enough cringy Fortnite dances, YouTube videos, there wasn't enough Minecraft. I should have seen the kids play Minecraft more. It's not just that it's super raunchy and, you know, kids saying the F word and learning what a penis is. Well, they know what that is, but learning what sex is and drugs and alcohol. That's hilarious, hee hee. But what's really sweet about the movie that it brings in, that even Superbad also dwelled in a lot, is that it's not just funny because of its raunchiness, and that's not all the movie has to offer. A lot of the movie surprised me, especially the first 30 minutes. It gets really emotional. Like, there's a lot of, like, deep moments that I could even relate to that the kids went through, not going through stuff like that long ago, that really made me feel for them. It was something insane. And especially a lot of the themes that the movie goes for. Admittedly, it's not handled perfectly, which is probably one of the biggest flaws the movie does have. But the fact that they go into it, and they do handle it despite its flaws pretty damn well, it's a really touching movie. My God, man, just... this movie goes places and says some shit that I want to see how it was behind the scenes during the writing of the movie, during the making of the screenplay. I really wonder. They were definitely high. Like, once you see the movie, you cannot tell me they were not on something when writing this. Because when you see what goes down, and it's a lot of shit that goes down, this movie is like a PSA for what happens when you smoke weed during writing a screenplay. However, though, like I said, it's not a perfect movie. Unfortunately, the weakest part of, like I said earlier, that his films aren't perfect, does have a lot to do with him balancing his comedy, though incredible, with the story and its characters. They're, especially by the second act, or by the second act or an hour into the movie, you can really feel that there's some moments that just do not work out well, what the characters were trying to portray and what was going on with. Especially now that I realized that them being child actors, which, by the way, before I say this, like, holy shit, the children are incredible actors. Like, what I'm about to say right now isn't trying to, like, diss them. Like, all of them, 85% of the movie, they were incredible. Like, but there are some moments that, because ultimately they are just kids, and especially with it being a lot of heavy stuff that I can imagine even the child actors not understanding the themes they're going through, there are some moments that just don't really hit, especially times when they're meant to get super emotional, which is weird, because most of the time it does work very well, but when they're, especially this big part of the scene, I'm not going to try to spoil it, when they're dealing with a huge situation, they're at their breaking point, and they're supposed to be crying, I can tell they were trying to make it funny, but it's a moment that really should have just been a more serious scene, that they tried to do like this weird fake crying thing that just seems very awkward. Some people are laughing in the audience, but then it went on for even a bit too long then, and then it wasn't really a funny moment. It just felt very awkward out of place. There's some moments like that throughout the movie that it doesn't really land, and it's probably the worst part that this movie has to offer. Admittedly, for most of it, it's still incredible, and it's not rare, but it's not common in the movie that it goes through. But you will notice them, especially by the second act of the film. Aside from that, honestly, guys, once again, with the fact of being it's not a really super original concept, it's just a nice, it's the novelty of Superbad, but with kids. Like, it's an awesome idea. It admittedly, like I always say, I wish it went a little farther with it, and there are some moments that don't really work out. And even I noticed a lot of it that, now thinking about it again, that my friend and I were talking about it, or Kevin and I don't know why I keep calling my friend and I, my friend Kevin and I were talking about during the movie that I felt like there were some moments that maybe I was just crazy, that a lot of editing throughout it, some editing moments, or the cinematography with them when like there's some big action sequences going on with the kids and them trying to handle the situations that for me just sound very odd. Like there's some moments where like it gets super choppy. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I felt that a lot, that just out of nowhere they just start chopping up a lot of the scenes and felt very messy and confusing. It's not a lot of it, once again, admittedly. It's really, a lot of it does come from the second act, which I would say is probably the weakest part of the movie. So still, despite that, this is an incredible film. I love the idea of it, and most of the time it's executed to near perfection. However, there are a lot of faults that really bring it down a bit, but my God, this was just a great time to watch. It was a great experience, and honestly, like I said, it's a very sweet movie. It's not just all fun and games. It's impressive that Seth Rogen can still, despite his flaws, can still manage to make you care for these characters while you can laugh your ass off at the same time. I love this movie. I'm going to give Good Boys an 8.5 out of 10. If they were so close to reaching for me that 9, but ultimately, it's not a very original, unique film. It's just a nice little novelty. It's what I like, that term I use, it's just a nice little remix of Superbad, but with kids, and there's just some moments that don't really work out so well. Aside from that, please go watch this movie if you want to go have a great time with your friends and just laugh your asses off, and even maybe cry a little. No, I didn't cry immediately this time, not this time. Just having a great experience with your friends. This is the movie. Thank you all once again for watching these videos with me, being part of my journey throughout this summer. It's really crazy for me now to imagine that literally in 2 days I'm about to be a senior. Yes, I have one more year of school and then I'm done. And then hopefully my dream of going to film school works out. It's been crazy, honestly, guys, to now imagine that you guys have been part of this journey with me since I was in 6th grade. You can see me grow up, you can cringe with me of how my voice changes, how shitty my old videos used to be, but it's always a lot of fun doing this, and I honestly got always mean it. It really means a lot to me when you guys watch this stuff and even enjoy it. That's just an even bigger extra bonus for it to have, but I always love doing this stuff, and it's so much fun. Thank you all for watching. If you saw Good Boys this weekend, what did you think about it? I'm very curious. Did you have a great time with it too? Was there other things that you personally didn't like that I didn't notice? Let's talk about it in the comments. Anyway, hope you all have a lovely day, because look, I'm very early with this one. See you guys.